My name is Adam Mills. I am a sophomore at Elon University. I am currently doing a major in the Music Production Recording Arts program, more on the production side. I am from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. What drew me here was honestly the MPRA program specifically. The amount of opportunities and internships I can get through that are amazing. At some point, my family decided, since my dad worked in the financial sector, let's move to New York, let's get closer to Wall Street, let's just be more immersed in all that. And it was going well until I think around 2006. And at that point, my father saw there was an oncoming recession. We need to get back to Canada so we don't lose everything. It was a little bit hard leaving sort of all the friends I had behind. But at a young age, I went to Sterling Hall, and there I immediately just got in love with, they had a school choir, they had music class. I remember so often I would go in my room and terribly play the recorder, and I would just love it to pieces. Through that school, I was always in choir. I even eventually got into some jazz bands, and I even had the opportunity to play with Canadian astronaut Commander Chris Hadfield in, I think, the 6th or 7th grade. That was probably one of the most anxiety-based but best performance experiences I have ever had. And it was a lot to take in as like a 12-year-old. But I definitely think that was like one of the main moments. I'm like, yeah, I want to do this for the rest of my life. There's no way I can live life and not do this.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You really made the grade. And the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. But it's time to guide the capsule if you dare.
Going to high school though, that's when I sort of started making my own music, but I also did form my own band called 7 Below. That unfortunately didn't last too long, and I decided to take up more of like, okay, I'm gonna do all this myself versus trying to do it with the band. And I think in the long run that actually benefited me because when it came to my writing, I got a little bit defensive over it, and they sort of started saying, oh, change this, that, and the other. And I'm just looking at the direction this is going, I'm like, no. Nowadays, I'm continuing to make music internationally, technically, with my producer all the way back in Canada, while I have my mini setup down here. And I love it, honestly. It's fantastic. The ability to continue to make music, even thousands of miles away, I'm so thankful for that. I started off under my normal name, Adam Mills Music, back in 2014, before switching to Millsy in 2018. I just didn't know how to make the music I wanted to make at the time. And the last song, or one of the last songs at least I ever released, I think I even actually deleted it off the face of the internet at this point, called Colors. It was by far one of the worst songs I ever made. I'm like, okay, I hope everyone hates this. And in a shocking turn of events, everyone loved it. And I'm like, I'll be. It was super weird because then I sort of entered this wormhole of, oh, are people just pretending to like my music? Or are people just putting on this act? And then I sort of got myself all worked up over it. But in the end, I just said, screw it. I'm going to make the music I want to make. If people like it, fantastic. If they don't, they can go away. Music helps me get through a lot of day-to-day life, especially here in America and through university, the stresses that go along with it. One way I actually cope with stress down here is, for example, if I'm stressing out about something and I just don't have any control over it, I will just step back, jam on my guitar for a bit, and just sort of, it's almost talking to myself in a lyrical format. It's sort of just like getting it out there so I don't bottle it up. And I think it's really healthy because it's transformative use of something that would otherwise just burden me down. And I think making something good out of such a crappy situation is the best way to go about it with music. I entered music in probably one of the most darkest points in my life. I just left a school I was at for 8 years after moving back from New York. And unfortunately at the time, I didn't have a cell phone, I didn't have like an email or anything to keep in touch with all the other friends I had. So I basically just lost friends of 8 years, and I also unfortunately lost the dog that I grew up with. And it was just in this really dark space that I had nothing to turn to, basically. And sort of this light that came through was music. And I'm like, okay, if I can't get anything positive out of this situation, I might as well be creative with this. With my first song, Trapped in Love, it was sort of like, by means it wasn't my best song, but it was just something to help me process the situation I was going through. I didn't know what life was going to be like ahead. I was very lost at the time. And just seeing the initial reaction it got and seeing how people loved what I was doing, it actually helped me a lot. And without it, honestly, I would be, I think even still to this day, in a still relatively dark space. The type of music I'm writing and making at the moment more leans towards alternative rock. It's more inspired by sort of taking a stand for what you believe in, not letting anyone tell you otherwise. My entire music premise is it's a bit more activist-based, protest-based. It's sort of like not staying silent while bad things continue to happen, whether that be politics-based in America or whatever stresses you out in day-to-day life. Just like taking a stand. Some of my idols, like Grandson, starting his own charity movement, and like Excess Resistance. I looked up to him so much when it comes to writing. I don't want to be fake with my lyrics or fake with the way I present them. And I think, for me at least, alternative rock, it resonates with me so much. It's just the best way to express what I have on my mind. There's always going to be that little niche group. Even if it's not like I'm going to be earning thousands of streams or thousands of views, again, I do it because I love it. I would not want to be doing mumble rap on my songs or on stage because it wouldn't be genuine. Never Keep Us Down was originally based on the events of the whole net neutrality debate, but I realized it can still be applied to a lot of what's going on today in America's political climate, and I think it's sort of a way to say, no matter what you do or what you try to take away from us, we will always have our voices and we will stand by them till the day we die, basically. I always think of it as like the prep rally before the march. With kids our age, especially when it comes to politics, it can be a bit of a touchy area. At one point in Moseley, it was just every day I would see some sort of shooting going on, and I just went into a very depressive episode because of it. It's hard to look at what's going on because it can like desensitize you, or it can be very hard, like emotionally speaking, to look at it because it's a very dark situation. But it needs to be addressed and it needs to be looked at, because if we just let it continue happen in silence, then it'll never get better, unfortunately. Like Never Keep Us Down, fight for what we believe in and make sure that atrocities like this don't continue to happen.
You wanna run, you wanna be reckless, but there's nowhere to go.
After university, I'm hoping to definitely continue this wherever I am. I don't know if I'll end up in Canada again or if I'll stay in the United States, but wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, making music will always be a part of my life.
Get the money you made, forgotten friends.